Hey guys, this is Jay from Creepcast alongside Melda from Drag Us to Hell.
Hello.
We just saw Lisa Frankenstein.
We did.
I know everybody's probably wondering where's the Pope of Pain. He's still with Grumpelstiltskin, as you guys might have seen in a prior video for his 51st birthday, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm pretty sure Wolf Tummy is at like a Dollar Tree somewhere.
Probably a Dollar Tree. Yeah, he's low key at a Target, as he says he doesn't. But I have a suspicion that he likes to go to a Target.
I think so too.
I can't imagine that he doesn't.
No, probably trying to find a shirt with less holes in it.
Yeah, with less holes. Yeah,
love you, Franco.
And very gay.
but we're very excited. We couldn't wait for these guys to talk about this movie.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm super excited about this movie. I just got off, literally just got off like a few hours ago from seeing it.
You did, and we didn't even discuss this.
No, we haven't discussed anything. You recommended this to me because we both shared our love for horror romances, kind of.
We do, and I'm pretty sure like with me, we were kind of skeptical of this one.
Oh, 100%.
Weren't necessarily thrilled when we saw the trailer.
Yeah, I was. When I saw the trailer, I was like, I'll wait till it comes out digital or whatever home release. And then I came in one day into the shop and you were raving about it. So I was like, oh shit, maybe I have to go see this movie.
Right.
Because it's been a long time since we've gotten like a good comedic horror romance.
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies is the only one I could think of, and I remember loving that as like a 14-year-old.
Likewise, I'm still getting grief for that, by the way. Like,
all the time. I could never say that without
ago.
getting shit. Like all the time.
And it blows my mind because Warm Bodies is a really good movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. Like it's literally one of my go-to feel-goods.
So, likewise, what is it about this movie? So you're in the theater. It picks up. It's got that really great intro.
It's got the great. Okay, yeah. First, it starts off with a really, really, really good intro. Like I was kind of like it kind of gave me a little Tim Burton.
Big time Tim Burton.
With the like illustrative, I don't know, storyline of our main character, one of our main characters, and the music. Instantly, the music like took me into that spot. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be good. Because obviously this movie's based 80s.
Very.
It's 80s. It's very Stranger Things. Very
Edward
pretty much
Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands.
Even though it's not an idiot, but it's kind of it looks the part. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And so I was worried with this movie because I think with producing now and producing 80s movies, like going back to it, they like to hide behind the 80s music.
Right.
And like it's just in your face screaming 80s music. I hate that. It becomes real cheesy. It's like I get it. We're in the 80s, but we don't need to like have every element of it in the 80s.
Sure.
I'm glad this one didn't do that.
No.
We didn't get like those like banger hits of like songs just playing out of nowhere.
No,
we got like a few good covers of 80s songs.
Agreed.
But not like in your face like cringy 80s music.
It wasn't just Talking Heads and Tears for Fears up your ass,
right?
It was
exactly. Yeah,
there was a lot of
which I was really worried. I was like, what main pop culture 80s song are they gonna have as this intro song? Because you always gotta have it. I was like, I was thinking it was gonna be some Blondie or you know something. I don't know what it was gonna be.
But no, they had everything from U2, a lot of even like hip hop, like contemporary hip hop artists.
I loved it, and they just kind of made their own with the soundtrack. They made their own like 80s synthy. I don't know. It was amazing. So I was like, oh, I know we're going in for a good ride here because it wasn't already coming off as cringy.
No, I want to say like the main reason I got so fired up about this movie, everybody was coming into the shop and they were like clamoring about this. You got to go see it. You got to go see it. And I think pretty much everybody.
Yeah, everybody I've talked to has told me to go see this movie.
But everybody seemed skeptical. Yet everybody was running in here. It's like going to be one of the movies of the year by the end of the year, come December.
It was one of those ones that just kind of snuck up too. Like I hadn't heard anything about it until the release day. Usually people are like, oh, I'm excited to go see this movie weeks ahead or months like prior, but I hadn't heard anything from it at all. Nothing.
Right. Well, diving into this thing, right? So to unpack this thing to start off, basically Lisa Frankenstein, she's kind of like the gothy chick, right?
Is she gothy or is she just trauma ridden?
She's like, definitely trauma ridden, right?
Yeah, because like
mother.
Because we find out that like her mother was murdered in a home intrusion, like which is super dark. I wasn't expecting that.
Real dark.
I was like, whoa, and like brutal, like. Murder mom not just murdered, like axe
home invasion
to death,
style shit,
and like completely just decimated. Like this is horrible. And so I'm like, is she goth or is she just dealing with the stress and like the trauma of her mother and witnessing her mother's death?
Well, you do have that really cute moment where she talks about the cure, right? And she's like,
that too,
right? And I won't spoil it or anything, but it's a really cute scene. And she kind of talks about the trauma of it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so she has a stepsister, which I really like this because they usually go the traditional stepsister that's the cheerleader is like the bratty, like just super vengeful, spiteful person.
I'm glad
but not here.
I'm glad you said that because when I heard. Because we don't know at first that she's her stepsister until we go to one of the main scenes, which is the party scene.
Sure.
And we learn that she's the stepsister, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting because you think kind of like when you think step parents, step siblings, like the Cinderella story.
Sure.
The evil stepsisters and the evil stepmother.
Right.
And it was really refreshing to see the stepsister being super like inviting her,
supportive,
being like super nice, having her go to this party, watching out for her at this party.
Right.
I was like, wow. I was like, I've always been under the understanding like step siblings are always like the worst, and they always treat you like shit because you're not truly part of the family.
Right.
This was so refreshing to see that.
Super
and I
refreshing.
love her too. By the way,
Likewise.
we're not gonna know any actors or actresses' name in this, so we're just gonna go by like, you know, stepsister, main character, other main character, dad, mom.
Yeah,
we don't know anything.
You, Jason, and Frank, you guys are very intelligent with this stuff, but like I know nothing, so it's
I
gonna be very
well,
on brand.
It's cool because this also doesn't have like a lot of main actors in it, like very like spotty main actors.
You have the Stranger Things.
Yeah, you got the Stranger Things dad.
Same role.
Same role. You got the one of the girl, Lisa Frankenstein, or Lisa. She is from Freaky.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know her from. I don't know if she's done anything else.
Same.
And then we get Frankenstein, which is Cole Sprouse, which is the only one I know, and that's only because he is from my childhood, which he was like Sweet Life on Deck. Zach and Cody, like all of those movies.
And he was my MVP of the movie, by the way.
I
absolutely loved him.
Oh, it was great. He also had like the
easiest role
because he had zero dialogue.
It reminded me of the Willy's Wonderland, was it?
100%.
Where Nick Cage just shows
100%,
up and gets a nice check for doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly, 100%. I think he has a single dialogue at the very end of the movie.
Oh, good
and that was
call.
it.
Yeah,
and it was a strong one too.
Right,
but. It's cool because he had a lot of physical acting was really well done.
He sold
especially for like a Frankenstein-esque. We've seen it 1,000 times. We've seen different iterations of Frankenstein. They're all kind of the same. Like a guy that just kind of wobbles along, big shoes, heavy footsteps. He wasn't like that in this.
No,
he was very sneaky actually.
Very sneaky.
I really enjoyed that.
You get a lot of tiptoeing around, especially in the scene inside the house, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the party scene, right? So again, diving back into this, so it sets off. They're at the pool party. And she gets her drink spiked.
Yeah, what did she get spiked with again?
We still have no idea.
I have no idea because like she takes a single sip and she's already starting to hallucinate.
She's already
gone.
Like,
what the fuck does she drink? Because even nowadays I don't know what you would drink like that would get you that fucked up.
Fuck you up that bad.
But like she was
I would have drank that shit like water.
100%. If that was available to me, hell yeah, make all my parties
all
a lot
day.
easier.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Like she's like. Yeah, she's down for the count. She's wobbling all over the place. And then we get actually a pretty gnarly scene where this nerdy guy takes her to the bedroom, and you think, oh, he's a nerdy guy, he's going to be good.
He's helping her puke, hold her hair.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this is a nice guy. And then we go to sexual assault.
Total scumbag.
Like yeah, completely like filling up on her and then like putting her hand on his parts.
Right.
And I'm like,
which is an important scene, especially like a half hour later.
Yeah, 100%. But I was like, whoa, that took a big turn.
But it's a huge turn, but it's also a big scene, right? Because from there, she does like the whole euphoric thing. She gets completely crushed.
Yeah, and this had probably one of the coolest transitions that I've seen in a long time where she ends up getting off the bed. She's getting through the house and stuff. And as she's moving through this big-ass house, it transitions to her to the graveyard.
Right.
Which was like so seamless. Like you just see like a few trees as she's walking through the house and then bam, she's just in the cemetery.
It was so fluent.
And I was like, whoa.
Right.
I was like, that was cool. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. And then we see the big old tombstone with I forget his first name. I don't even know.
I do too.
But I think all we see is just Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Just Frankenstein.
That's all I remember.
Oh, and it's got this cool like bust of him, of his head and shoulders, and he's just like this suave like looking guy. We don't know very much of him.
Right.
And then we see a giant green lightning bolt, and that's it.
And that lightning bolt also pivotal, right?
Yeah,
because it's
very
kind
pivotal.
of throughout the movie.
Yeah. Again, they're like really good about
showing
details. Things. Showing things, but not going into like explaining every little thing about it.
Right, and later throughout the movie, they continue to unpack each one.
Yeah,
like everything is very intentional.
Yeah. And so we then transition into her going home late at night.
Yes.
And she fucks up the bathroom. She just like smashes the mirror.
Those little precious moments that she's breaking them on her mom.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, that's funny. And so she goes to bed. She's fucked up looking.
Super fucked up.
It looks like me most of the time.
Right.
Like after drag. Like I look just like that going into bed, like super tired.
Right. But wakes up then, right? Sister's waking her up. Hey, mom's gonna fucking kill you. You broke her precious moments.
Yeah, she's like, oh fuck, you're in deep shit.
Right.
And we get the mom who is the stepmom in this, who does play the traditional stepmom, very bitchy, very just like
kills it by the way.
Oh yeah, and she's from. I think her name's Cara something, but
she's been everywhere.
She's everything. We were talking about how she's in Hill House. She pretty much anything Mike Flanagan. She's been in all the Hill Houses.
Yeah, you told me that, by the way, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah, she's badass. We love her. She's in Troop Beverly Hills as a kid in the 80s, so I thought that was pretty cool that she's like playing back into an 80s role as an adult when she was a child star in the 80s.
Right.
Love her.
Well, Lisa comes downstairs, and the mom's like, again, she talks to her father, and she's like, "Can you discipline this girl?"
Yeah, she's like, "Can you be a father for once?" And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Eating his grape nuts and shit.
Yeah. She's like so mean to him.
She's
like,
so mean.
And this guy's like so desensitized because he just like looks and he's like,
he's trying to read the paper.
He's like, apologize, but he's just like so over it.
And
like,
you're gonna pay for it, right?
Yeah, and he's like, and you're gonna pay for it,
right?
Pay for the mirror.
So right off the bat, though, they plant that seed of like, okay, the mom's trying to get this girl out of the picture.
Yeah, she doesn't like the mom, or the mom doesn't like her and stuff. And this is where we kind of get the dynamic of the stepsister, which the stepsister is like, "Mom, be nice, and like, oh, we can't do that to Lisa and stuff like that." So you're like, oh. That's nice. You get like a bitchy mom, and then you get the daughter who's obviously like the cheerleading, like, oh, my daughter is
perfect
precious.
daughter.
Yeah,
just
trophy
perfect daughter.
Yeah, the trophy daughter. But then the trophy daughter having like those sympathy for obviously the stepsister who knows like, oh, she's having a hard time. Obviously, like, give her a fucking break.
And again, as the audience, it was really cool because the whole time you're just waiting for like why is the sister not bullying her or like being a bitch?
You're also like, at least for me, when I first watched it, I was like, why is she being nice? Like, she's being a little too nice.
I'm waiting for the turn the whole movie.
Yeah, I'm waiting for something to happen. But she tried and true, just stays that like sweetheart.
She doesn't. Also, she wishes, basically, when that lightning storm happened, she wishes this guy alive.
Right. Yeah, her intention was that she wanted to be with him. But we find out that has a double meaning. Because we find out she didn't mean she wanted to be with him.
Right.
She meant she wanted to be dead. She wanted to be like him. She was like, I want to be like you because I'm having a hard time right now dealing with everything.
Well, the parents, daughter, they go out. Stepdaughter, they go out.
Yeah, they go out to see a movie.
And then here comes good old Frankenstein.
And this is good because, again, this movie's just pacing. Really great pacing.
Real great
where
pacing.
We see her. Lisa is obviously just watching movie, and all of a sudden she's like,
oh, by the way, she's watching like Day of the Dead.
She's watching Day of the Dead,
which is awesome.
Yeah, which I love that. I thought that was pretty funny, and it's a great like foreshadowing moment and stuff like that. I
think you get the scene with Bub like over and out. So here comes Frank, breaks in the house.
I mean, and not quiet either. He just goes straight through the window
and immediately starts breaking all the other precious moments and shit. So she's in deep.
He's corpsing around, bumping into shit. She's throwing shit at him. She's thinking it's another, burglar moment and stuff. Right. So, and this guy looks scary too. He's like all muddy, and you can't tell. You don't see his face or anything. He's very creepy looking, and I was like, oh shit, something's going down.
Almost Billy Butcherson-esque a little bit.
I was just about to say very Billy, very Billy.
Well, they get to a point where like they're friendly, right? So she recognizes she's not trying to hurt me.
Yeah, he pulls out the rosary at the beginning that she puts on his grave. That was her mother's, and she's like, it's too morbid for me to have it. It's what my mom was wearing when she got murdered, so I want you to have it. And he just pulls that shit out of his pocket and like, hey yo, it's me.
Sure, yeah,
like, it's me. We're
all good. So
yeah, we're all good.
She takes him upstairs.
Yeah,
she gets him all washed up.
We get the 80s makeover scene in every 80s
one of my
movie.
favorite scenes, by the way.
Yeah, it's really funny.
She gets him all cleaned up, right? Washes him off in the washes himself off in the shower, of course. Then pushes him in the closet, and he tries on about 6 different outfits.
Yeah, he gets like I don't even know. There was so many different. I know there's
pink
like a
robe.
Big pink robe.
Looked like Ric Flair in a goddamn suit. But
it's so funny. But then we get the really cool new like 80s version of a Frankenstein outfit where it has the overcoat, the gray
band shirt,
and then the pants, and then the clunky shoes.
Right.
But it's funny because it works, because it just looks like there's a band shirt, a very just like traditional like
and very imperfect, right? He's missing a hand.
He's missing a hand, an ear. His hair's all fucked
Maybe
up.
Something else we find out later.
We find out he's missing something else.
So basically, really again, in short, when we're breaking this down piece by piece here, but it's really important. And so throughout that, he does not like to see Lisa be mistreated.
Pretty much, yeah. So we just get a few scenes to fill in time. He's bopping around the house. He finds out the mom is a piece of shit. Like she's
trying to get her put in a psych ward.
Yeah, she tells Lisa, she's like, hey, you're a bitch. I don't want you here.
Slaps her. Slaps the shit out of her.
And she's in front of the closet door, and we just see that closet door slowly opening. And Lisa, we think she's saying no to the mom because the mom's like, I'm putting you in a psych ward. She's like, no. She's realizing that Frankie's behind the mom.
Yep.
And just clanks her in the head with a sewing machine.
And there's some serious blood.
I was surprised. With this main character being the mother, like this main actress, I was expecting her to be in the movie a lot longer.
Likewise.
And we just get bang on the floor. Mom's just bleeding out. Like and fucking, and then he gets a seam ripper. Which, if anybody who knows, like, of course, me being the drag fanatic I am and stuff, I'm very, very, very close to a seam ripper, and just starts clipping off the mom's ear.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck? And just pulls it up, and you see the mom's like, she's got like a little like diamond stud in the ear and stuff, and he's just holding it, and she's like, Lisa's like, what? Like, no.
Right.
And then a cutscene to her sewing the fucking ear on because she's
sewing
a seamstress as a job. So it's like, it's so nicely put that like we get these little moments where we find out she's like a seamstress.
Yep.
This
and
like,
into the tanning bed, by the way, which is important because the tanning bed is what basically executes this.
They do really well with like taking the Frankenstein story and transitioning into a very 80s vibe, which we get the broken tanning bed, which electrocutes. Yep. And it's like, oh, there's the electrocution bed and stuff like that.
So
and
it doesn't work right away, right? So
so he finds out, like Lisa pretty much finds out that the ear doesn't work.
Right.
He can't hear still when she sews it on, which means he draws on a little lightning bolt with a Sharpie on her hand, and she's like, oh shit. So they have to go to the tanning bed, and they have to pretty much bring the ear to life. Basically.
Which is so cool. And by the way,
which is so funny.
I got to know, that tattoo is going to be like one of the biggest tattoos in the coming years. Everybody's going to get that lightning bolt.
Everybody's getting that little tattoo on
Everyone is going to get that shit. Mark my words.
Maybe even me.
Maybe really even me. I need one on my eyebrow. Something like right above it or something. Instead of the teardrop, it's going to be the bolt.
The little,
But so that's one, right? And then they circle back to that guy earlier in the movie that spikes her fucking drink.
Yeah. Well, it's a cool scene because we get she has a little high school crush, which is
good call.
The newspaper like publicist of the he's the news guy,
the handsomest dude,
right? Handsome, like 80s bit, like Billy from Scream looking guy, like just super like 80s slicker. We get it.
I'm even getting some vibes of like Heath Ledger, 10 Things I Hate About You, just the guy, right?
100%. Yeah.
Good call though.
And
to carry on.
We think throughout the little high school scenes that she's writing him notes because she's like, oh, they're getting closer and stuff. You're thinking you're writing notes. And then she finds a note in her locker that pretty much says like, "Hey, let's meet up here." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll go with you." And then it jumps to them outside this forest, and it's the nerdy guy from the party. And I'm like, "Wait a minute!" I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "She's gonna fuck the neighbor guy, like the nerdy guy." I'm like, "What?" And we find out she's taking him to the graveyard.
Yeah,
I'm like,
open grave.
I was like, oh no, nothing good is coming out of this. Like instantly, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's dead.
They killing his ass.
They kill his ass, and it's brutal.
It's brutal.
Frankie comes out just out of nowhere, or she headbutts him.
She does.
Or knee like slaps him in the knee really hard. He falls. And we just see Frankie come up with an axe and just chops that hand right off. And it's ironic because it's the hand that was obviously like touching her and grabbing her boobs and stuff like that at the
Very
party.
attention to the detail.
Yeah, and the nerdy guy starts running away, and it's the cheesiest thing because it's like Frankie throws the axe, and it's like Scream 3 Goofy to where like when Ghostface throws the knife at Doofy, I was gonna say Doofy,
right,
at Dewey, and you just see it fucking spinning, and you're like, it's taking forever, just hit him, and it just knocks this guy in the head, and he's just dead.
He's been in one of those axe throwing restaurants a time or two because that 100%. Thing bullseye, right?
100%.
So they kill his ass, they
him.
dump him, take the hand, get to that tanning booth.
Yep.
Now there's his ear, there's his hand. Right? It's only missing about another component or two.
Yeah, and at this point we're like, oh, he's like the perfect guy. And it's also funny too because like as he's getting out of the tanning bed, he's also getting more human looking. Like he was super corpsey and stuff, but then as he's getting his parts like all together, you can see in his face that he's losing the sunken cheekbones.
Great call.
He's less gray, he's more human like, and then he's just got really dark circles basically through the whole movie.
His imperfections continue to become more and more like real.
And you slowly see Lisa gaining life because we see her as this real like lonely, very just like
she's a companion.
Yeah, and then we start seeing as she is going along through the film that she's also getting life. She's also like she's becoming hot.
Sure.
She's becoming like femme fatale in the school. Everybody's like, oh shit, where'd Lisa come from?
He picks out the outfit for her.
Yeah.
And gets her all badass in the hallway.
Like gussied up and stuff like that.
And the supportive sister sees her walking down the hall and's like all proud of her. I'm like,
and she's like, is that my shirt? And Lisa's like, oh. She's like, I thought you said sister share. She's like, I did say that. She's like, it looks really good on you. And I was like,
I never got so upset at support in my life. Like I was so mad. I'm like,
at this time I was like, this sister needs to do something. Like, what is she doing? What is she doing?
What are we doing here? Yeah.
And
but it's so funny because earlier in the movie throughout, you see it becomes less and less about that attractive guy that she's after.
Right.
And you literally see the transition. Like, okay, these two are going to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
But moving forward, she's back at her seamstress job. Homeboy comes in, the charming guy that she's still after. She sniffs his jacket. She's going to fix it all wonderful and stuff. And where were we? Like, what happens after that? I think we end up getting like a what was it?
So after that we
you saw it fresh. You probably know this a little bit.
Yeah. So we go to, I think that's actually before they kill the guy. So I think after this they kill the nerdy guy.
That's right, because the jackets.
And there's a thing that the handsome guy that she has a crush on has, I don't know if it's a girlfriend or somebody, but it's this bitchy goth girl who's also just like super, like doesn't like Lisa.
Not at all. Yeah, she tries to get her in trouble a few times throughout this.
Yeah, and she actually finds out that the boy was going to meet Lisa somehow. Right. So we find that out that like she actually sees that Lisa's with this nerdy guy, so that will transition into it. And then I think at this point, we get. I'm trying to think. So there's a lot of things that go on. So the only thing I will say is like towards the end, everything kind of starts piling onto each other.
It happens very quickly.
It happens really fast.
Like the middle act, you start to get a lot thrown at you at once.
Yeah.
And it becomes a little bit overwhelming, but not in like an overbearing way. So
so after she goes home, she finds out that pretty much the stepsister's like, she ends up getting the cheerleading position she wants.
Right. She's doing the splits.
And she's like, I need to call my mom. And I guess supposedly the mom was out of town. The stepmother was out of town. And Lisa's like, oh shit. She's like, we fucking killed her. And the stepsister's like, I need to call mom. I want to call her hotel and let her know.
Right.
And Lisa's starting to freak out. She's like, oh, let her know. I want to talk to her too on the phone, because she's flipping out. She's like, oh shit. And basically we get now the troubling part, the downfall of Lisa and Frankie.
My favorite part of the movie, by the way.
Which is really funny.
They're running from everybody.
This is like in every like adventure, like Adventures in Babysitting and stuff, like when everything's starting to come together. And, oh shit!
The cop chase, it's like everything.
Yeah. So we get the stepsister finds out the mom never checked into the hotel that she was supposed to be at, and so she starts freaking out. She's like, "What if she was murdered? What if something happened?" And Lisa's like, "No, don't think about that. Don't do anything." And this basically starts the investigation part. Yep. So then she goes to school, and we see the stepsister is pretty much reversed. Like characters at this point. She's now looking more like Lisa at the beginning of the film, being very trauma-based, is worrying about her mom, didn't get any sleep. And Lisa now is this gorgeous, like has to be the hotter stepsister.
She's a baddie.
Yeah, she is. And she kind of got a little bit of like an Angela from Night of the Demons outfit. It's like this black gown.
Yeah.
And it's all shredded. It's got this tool. She looks pretty badass, hair all crimped. And she goes to the school, and there's police officers. And Lisa's starting to hide. She's like, oh shit, what happened? And we find out from some girls that, oh, the nerdy guy never went home last night.
Right.
And his parents called the police now. And then, so the stepsister's like, what if my mom is connected to something weird is going on?
They catch her in all kinds of lies throughout this shit.
Yeah. And so basically the stepsister says, hey, I'm going home.
Right.
I don't want you, like, I can't deal with this. And Lisa's like, all right, and all that. And basically Lisa gets called in to the principal's office, and it's like, hey, we know the nerdy guy was supposed to be with you, and that bitchy gothy girl is like, oh, I saw you, like, I saw you with the nerdy guy.
Right.
And so the police are like, so where were you? And they're like, we've seen you, like, someone said there was a description of you at this graveyard scene with the nerdy guy.
They really hit her with a lot of lies.
They hit her.
Like,
and you know,
she don't give a shit, dude.
She don't give a shit, but she's also like really bad at hiding her emotions and that she's guilty. She's like, it's so funny because she's like, she makes this scene where she's like, oh, you could talk to my lawyer if you have any questions. It's like,
bounces, deuces, I'm out.
Yeah, just leaves. And it's like, why would a teenage girl say you could talk to my lawyer and if you're not into some sketchy shit? So it was like, what are we doing? So we start seeing her slowly break. And
let's just fast forward right until what we do see the perfect stepsister in bed.
So we find out that the stepsister is fucking the hot guy that
she was after earlier in the film.
Yeah, and we literally catch her in the act. She is at the guy's house in bed. They just had sex, and we find out that Frankie followed Lisa, so basically in between these scenes there was the dad calls the house where Frankie's currently hiding at, and he gets the voicemail and says that the mom's car was found blah 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 somewhere away, hidden away. So Frankie's like takes it upon himself to go grab the car.
Yeah.
and he sees Lisa leaving
Great job
from
of
school.
driving, by the way.
Yeah, great. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of like the Michael Myers of Frankenstein, where he
Great
just
call,
like
by the way.
knows
Very
how,
Halloween.
Yeah,
78.
where he just knows how to drive.
Yeah.
And he was back in the medieval times. Like,
but he makes his way to that goddamn
does.
house, and that component we were talking about earlier that he's missing.
Yeah.
It's the piece.
This is
you know
fucking.
what I mean?
This is where it
It's
gets
the goods.
wild.
And,
Frankie just comes busting through that door with Lisa there.
Hello, Mr. Axe.
Hello,
again,
Mr. Axe.
and he takes that piece right
He takes
off.
that man meat right
Everybody's
off.
getting hit in the face with blood.
Yeah.
You actually see in the shadow
You
of the
see?
pillowcase
And
the
it's-
Johnson.
It's so funny because you could just tell, and like they made it cheesy on purpose, where it
Very.
just looks like this like
And it-
dildo flying through the air.
right, and it falls into a bucket.
Into a
they
trash
take,
can.
They take the trash can. Where do you think they're going? To the tanning bed.
Well, Frankie just leaves.
Yeah.
He leaves and he goes to the graveyard.
He
scene.
goes to the graveyard.
And Lisa takes the cousin.
Yep.
Because she's all fucked up now. She's all
Traumatized.
traumatized. And we
Very
get
great
a
acting,
very
by the way.
sentimental scene where Lisa says, "Thank you. I've noticed you've been nice to me."
Yeah.
And it didn't go unseen.
Gives her a big kiss.
Gives her a big kiss and says, "I love you, and you truly are my real sister."
Lets
Very
her go.
nice.
Lets her go. Then she's got work to do. She gets to
so
Frank.
I think it's really funny too because we see so Lisa gets out of the car
Yep.
with the axe and is going to go. We think is going to go kill
Yep.
Frankie, and we see the cousin just like get out of the passenger seat and run away.
Yeah,
And
she's
I was
gone.
like, that's really funny because
Right.
like who would stay?
Agree.
And so we get the last pretty much like
Final act here.
final act, yeah, where Lisa we think is going to kill Frankie.
Yeah.
But instead she's like, "You love me," not like oh. Like and basically we get like, oh, I've loved you this whole time.
Yeah.
We knew they were gonna be together.
Absolutely.
And Lisa's like, we don't have much time.
Don't have much time. They're trying to just get it in before.
She's like, I want you to have sex with me, basically. And
Don't we all?
Yeah. And Frankie's like, he starts getting nervous.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's wrong? And basically she feels that like,
he takes her hand and he shoves it right
just
between
gropes
his
it,
legs.
and basically
And she's
just
like,
like,
oh,
nothing works. Like,
it's fine.
and she's like, oh well, we could do other things. You like having that doesn't make you a man. Actually, it's the opposite.
Right.
Everything else matters, which is really funny.
Sure.
Which that's not true.
Not true.
In this case, it's not true.
Right.
And so
They're running out of time here.
Yeah.
They get back
she's
to
like,
the.
she's like, oh, Frankie pulls out the man part that he
Yeah.
has just in his pocket.
Sure.
And she's like, oh. And so it cuts scene to them back at her house.
Stitching.
But it looks like it looks very wrong.
She's on her knees.
Yeah,
He's
she's on her
standing
knees.
up.
He's got his head up.
With
But
he gives her like the eyebrow raise, like the
yeah,
rock.
yeah. It's like he didn't want to look.
He
Like,
didn't wanna
want to
look.
look until she was finished.
Just
But like
be a
she's
gentleman.
just sewing it on.
Yep.
And
Tanning bed?
We get they do the tanning bed, and then we get a love scene. We don't see anything. I think that's really classy too. We don't see anything.
Oh my god, they do that great animation cut of the rocket.
Yeah,
and the
the
stars,
rocket.
the fireworks.
It's very
Home run, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Home run.
And basically, she's like, it just cuts to them in the
Tanning
little
bed,
pool
right?
house.
Oh, yeah.
Where the tanning bed is.
And very final destination here.
Very.
I think part 3, right? The
Yeah,
tanning bed
part
kill.
3, yep.
And she's like, hey,
And
cook me.
Yeah, she's like, we don't have time.
Yeah.
And basically says like, I love you.
Yeah.
And so she gets into the tanning bed.
She
and
leaves
she
him a
tells
note.
Frankie, she's like, put it on full bronze.
Yeah.
And basically she puts on full bronze, and you just see the whole tanning bed convulse and
Yeah.
then in flames.
In flames, she's done.
Which, I was like, oh, I was thinking it was going to be electrocution for some reason, but it
Likewise.
makes sense
It
because
does.
in The Bride of Frankenstein and everything, or
Glad you said that.
even in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, obviously the bride gets burnt.
Yep.
And it was really clever.
And then he has that note.
And then he has the note that Lisa gives him that basically says, "I've always loved you," or "I'll always love you forever."
Yeah.
And we get what we think is the final scene where they're at Lisa Frankenstein, the mom or the dad and the stepsister.
Very dark humor, by the way. I love
Very,
this.
very.
Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, hi Lisa. The dad's always like super goofy and like just awkward.
Yeah.
So it's like
Pay their respects.
he didn't. Yeah, pay the respects.
Talk
to
about going to
Lisa.
Fuddruckers, get a burger.
Yeah, after
right
they
over her
visit
grave.
the mom.
Yep.
Yeah, right over the grave. I was like, nice, very
Yeah,
classy dad.
Very classy.
But we see etched into the very corner of the grave, which the cousin noticed, or the stepsister notices, is that it said "beloved wife."
Yeah.
We're like, what the fuck does that mean? Obviously, we know.
Sure.
But the cousin has no idea. And we get just a nice transition through grass, and it goes to Frankenstein reading a poem,
Yep.
which I think is the Mary Shelley's poem.
Is it?
pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but I think it might have been the.
And he's
Mary
talking
Shelley.
now, right?
He's fully talking, and he looks so alive.
And
like,
they're zooming in. They're panning in the camera from behind. They get closer and closer.
We do a whip around.
Yep, and there she is.
And we see
there's Lisa.
Lisa as in this red gown, fully bandaged.
Beautiful.
Has a head, has a hat on. And basically, she looks very much like she belongs in the time as like Frankie did.
Yep.
And she's all bandaged up like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Head on his lap.
Head on the lap, and they're just reading.
Opens her eyes.
Opens her eyes.
Total perfect ending.
Ending right there.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I couldn't believe how much I love this movie. I couldn't wait.
It was so good.
I couldn't wait to come in here and be like, Jason, let's hop on these mics and absolutely destroy this shit.
Oh, I 100% was really worried.
You know how embarrassed I was to tell him I love this movie?
I'm not embarrassed at all. I love this movie. This was so smart. It was funny in not a cheesy way. It was very strategic humor. It was very dark when it needed to be.
Okay, really quick, before we hop off here, I do have to say, there's a point in this movie where he's rooting through a closet and he finds a dildo. And
he finds the vibrating dildo.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he finds the vibrating dildo and he's like confused by this. And she's like, oh, that's for like back massages.
Oh, that's a back massage.
And there's a moment where she's like crying in bed and he busts it out and starts like massaging her back with it.
Yeah.
And it was a really cute scene.
It is really cute, but then it goes to really like...
She's like, yeah, why don't you fucking do it somewhere else?
She's like, people use that somewhere else.
Total
and then
nerdy.
we go downstairs and we just hear her scream.
Scream.
And the lights flicker. And it's like, obviously they did something.
I don't remember a PG-13 movie that told the line as much as this one. Not just with gore, not just with like the dark humor,
with just
but
everything.
Like everything.
They weren't shy of like anything. But
I don't know what we have to do to get Jason and Tommy to watch this movie, but
I think they'll love it.
I know they'll love it.
We have to find a way.
Just got to get them to lay those swords down.
Yeah, for reals. Honestly, this surprised me, by time folds. It was so good. It was a great mix of like a John Waters film, a Tim Burton film.
I even saw it like with some Wes Anderson in it.
And
like,
very Wes Anderson too.
At the end of the year, will this be a movie that you think like you're going to remember? You're going to
100%.
champion for potential
I'm
movie of the
already
year?
trying to plan another time to go see this
Sure.
because I'm like I need to see this again.
What are you doing tonight? You
right,
know what
literally.
I mean?
I was like, where's the closest AMC? We're going to see this.
Date night. Let's go.
It was really good.
Okay.
It was very cute. I don't typically like romances, obviously. But this is definitely, if I need a romance, this is the romance I'm watching.
I've never rooted for a happy ending so much. Right. But you know what? I think 2024.
Oh.
You know what? This is the year to start. This is the way to start the year for me.
Game with this.
I think this movie in about a month or two from right now, I think is going to already be like a cult favorite.
100%.
I could see any Hot Topic this being decked out everywhere. I'm already waiting to see the people rolling in here with those bolt tattoos.
Yeah. Oh, so. I'm also waiting to see where this goes. Maybe we could get like a Wolfman.
I would love. Could
or
we
like
just rip through the whole monsters?
Or like maybe like a swamp. Creatures from the Swamp love story. Like but like 80s. That'd be so fun.
I'm here for it.
I would love it. I think the only thing maybe I would have wanted at the very end, I kind of wanted the stepmom to come back.
You did?
I kind of wanted her to come back.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so glad she was dead.
I'm glad that she was dead, but I was like, if they could try to make this into a part 2, I would have loved to have seen the evil stepmom somehow, like because they buried her.
They did.
But we still got that green lightning bolt. We don't know what that was. I mean, except for Lisa's love. But who knows? Right. Maybe it was something more.
Well, I hope there's more to come because this movie was fantastic.
I think it was amazing.
I like you. I want to see this a couple more times before it leaves the theaters. I hope you all can go see this movie.
This is getting 10 out of 10 lightning bolts.
We can't recommend it enough. We're not shutting the hell up about it. And it's weird because, again, I did not consider this a horror-related movie, but it is. It's got so many elements.
It's great.
You guys will love it. All you guys that are out there, like, I'm only horror all the time. Jason, the Triple B's, we know this.
You guys got to see it.
Put the swords down. Take your partners. Go see this shit.
Go take your wives, your sisters, your mothers. Take them out to go see this. This is a good movie.
Yeah, go yourself. I don't care what you do. Just get out to the theaters.
Yeah, do what
and
I did. I went by myself. It was a great time.
All right.
I loved it.
Well, hey, let's go. Let's give these guys the opportunity to go. Tell us in the comments how awesome this movie was. Leave us a comment. Let us know how much you loved it. And hey, Melda, thanks for doing the show with me.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
We'll see you guys soon.
Yes. Goodbye.